One of my favorite memories with my dad is being a part of a kayaking relay competition and finishing the race for our team. We were handed the paddles in first place and made a smooth and quick transition into the kayak and immediately started paddling. This was not the beginning of our race. This was simply the climax of an entire season of preparation. 2 to 3 times a week, practicing with the other teammates was only part. We had to take our improvement into our own hands and thus building our bodies outside of the kayaking patterns, building muscle groups that seemed to not even be involved in the technique of paddling was very important. We had no idea what the weather on race day was going to be like, whether it would have been smooth sailing or the fight of our life to get to the finish line. So we made sure to train in all conditions. When others decided the coming storm was enough to make them bunker down and take a rest day, the heavy rain and tossing waves were the resistance in our training program. Up and down, back and forth, stroke after stroke after stroke, we dug our paddles deep within the rising waves as if to tell them to fall into subjection under us. With each stroke, we used up energy, but with each stroke, seeing the wake our boat created and cutting through the waves, making our own wave behind us, gave us even more energy to conquer the next wave and the next. The blowing wind and downpour of rain, instead of being a fierce opponent, became a means of cooling our heated bodies, like engines needing to be cooled after the race of a lifetime. We knew after that experience, no matter what the conditions on race day was going to be, we were ready for action. As my father worked on his physical strength and stamina, I worked on mine as well. But we had to work together with being synchronized with each stroke, maximizing on every ounce of energy we put out. But we were still a small part of the team. We had to train with the entire team, encouraging each other, building on each other's strengths, and seeking to help others improve their weaknesses. With this preparation, we were ready to take on any challenge, and it proved successful on game day. My dad rode at the front with me behind. We both had to understand responsibilities which depended on the position we held in the kayak. We both had to know at every point of the course what we were supposed to do to minimize the angle and therefore the time it took for us to get around an obstacle, slowing down just enough to make tight turns and knowing when to really dig in and power out the other end. The only way we were to do this successfully was with precise and clear communication. There was no room for guessing. No occasion was allowed for mistakes because we communicated not just the rhythm of the stroke or the timing and direction to anchor, then to release the anchor and increase speed to make tight turns, but it was also communicated encouragement. We communicated progress. We communicated checkpoints. We communicated how tired we were and how much it burned. We communicated when each other's technique needed sharpening up. We communicated to control break-in patterns. Effective communication was the foundation of our success. While making our way through the course, another team asked us to jokingly slow down so that they could catch up. If we took them seriously and slowed down, they wouldn't have had encouragement to increase their speed and push harder. The only outcome would have been both of us finishing the race at a later time and would not have proved advantageous for either of us. Plus, they were going in the other direction altogether due to us having such a large gap in first place. Although the gap we created was so large and it seemed as though we didn't have any competition surrounding us at all, that didn't change our mindset or trajectory. We had a goal and it was not dependent on any other team. It was to give 100% of what we had to the point of crossing the finish line. The approaching finish line and lack of competition didn't give us a sense of completion or thought of being okay to ease off the gas. We plowed back onto shore, picked up our kayaks, and ran through the finish line. You may ask, why didn't you just take it easy and walk to the finish line if there were no other competitors close by? It's because when we trained by ourselves, there were no other competitors there. No one cheering, no one fighting against us, no one impacting our breathing or synchronization, just us moving forward, us pressing on, us praying God would give us enough strength to get to the next wave and the next wave. When it came to the actual race, it was no different. There were only 2 people in our race. The fight wasn't against competitors or even the clock. It was against each stroke, each wave, fatigue, lactic acid, aching muscles, bad posture, bad technique, lack of communication, and weak minds. And you know what? We overcame. So close out the noise around you. Practice clear and precise communication. Stay in your lane. Leave no room for guessing. Count the cost. Push harder when others decide to lay back. Be an encouragement to others and never let off the gas. You are an overcomer.